Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hey, Lashy Kids and Driving Mutants, it's Lady Shasha, and we are making it through another week. I'm so glad it's Friday, and I have a very special guest with me today. I would like to welcome the author of The Brother's Curse, The Stone of the Curse, Mastema, Christopher's Curse, and the soon-to-be-released Fazarel, Christine M Germain. Hi, welcome to the show. My first question, though, is did I pronounce those correctly? Because I've read.
You did. No,
Okay.
you did perfectly. There's some people that make a mistake, but you aced it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So let's go into the chat. Tony Man says, great, because I put in the chat about the power situation, and he says, great, now I have to reset my lights and TV. I'm working on this oppressive heat here in Orlando. Yes.
Oh my gosh, what's the weather over there?
Right now, actually, let me see what it is. It's right now it's 93, so it's not as bad as it's been.
Yeah.
We've had some 99, 102 days.
Oh gosh. Yes, I don't miss Florida heat at all.
No, 93 is actually not so bad, but they got to work on the power grid because we have so many more people moving here. There's a lot of transplants from still from New York. I mean, I'm a transplant myself. I came down from Connecticut. But we're getting an influx of people from California as well. So, I mean, I can't fault them. They're coming for the same reason I came down here. The cost of living is more reasonable. But unfortunately, with us coming down here, they're raising the rates on everything. They're like, oh,
no matter where you go, something's going up.
Yeah, so we're getting a population boom. But I just want to let people know there's other towns besides Orlando. There's Winter Park, Altamont Springs, Claremont. I hear is pretty nice. These are all in Florida as well, and they're suburbs of Orlando, so you can like spread out.
Winter Park is beautiful. I was actually traveling from West Palm Beach to New York, and when I was on the Amtrak, I passed Winter Park, and I said, "Oh my God, this is like a little town that you can actually film a horror movie in."
Oh yeah. I used to have a house in Winter Park, and I really liked it there. The downtown area where the train goes through is really picturesque, and it has a lot of boutiques and
shops at the park and.
Oh yeah, their park is actually called Central Park, just like the one in New York.
Really?
They have jazz concerts there. They play horror movies through October in the park for free.
Oh, that's
it's got free Wi-Fi. It's really nice. Yeah. And there's an art gallery there too. There's
oh wow.
I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there's an art gallery. It's a really nice area.
Yeah. It definitely reminded me. It gave me like this Dawson's Creek-esque type vibe. But when I saw it, I said, I have to come back here and visit because this looks really nice.
Well, it's funny because I think Dawson's Creek takes place in New England, but I'm not 100% sure which state. And a lot of the area that's around Winter Park is named for, like, there's a New England Avenue, there's a Boston Avenue, there's a New York Avenue. It's like named after the Northeast. So I think they try to like replicate a lot of what it looks like in small towns in the Northeast. So it's pretty
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into your history, and I thought a great starting point would be what's the first horror novel that you can remember reading?
Okay. So, I wasn't a big reader when I was younger because I loved horror movies, but I did pick up some nostalgic books that I have in my bookshelf.
Oh,
They
nice.
weren't really horror, but it was R.L. Stein books. I remember
Oh,
these.
hmm,
So yeah, so this book was the first book that I read when I was younger. It's called The Boyfriend.
mm,
Yeah, so these were the kind of stories that I loved. They were short, they were fun, they were quirky, they were like not too gory, but just like I
hmm,
don't know, just I loved like the quirkiness of the like it was just like a more tamed horror, but those are the kind of books that I liked as a
hmm,
child. Yeah, I didn't start getting into horror books until as an adult. So like
hmm,
reading Stephen King, The Shining and stuff like that. But these were the books that I started off with was the R.L. Stein books.
very, very nice. When I look at your cover art, for some reason, it kind of reminds me of something that like a Anne Rice has done. Like, because her books have a combination of horror with romance, and sometimes it can
Yeah.
get a little bit sultry. I like that. Oh, D.N.R. Koontz also has some sultry stuff in his books, even though the
Oh.
covers wouldn't let you know that. His covers are pretty
Yeah.
bland, so you wouldn't know that there's
Yeah.
romance involved in them. But
Yeah.
yeah. Um, do you have a favorite subgenre of horror?
Demonic possession.
Mm. So have you seen, I've asked everyone this because I'm just, it's kind of a hot topic. Have you
Yeah.
seen the, oh gosh, my mind just blanked, The Deliverance?
Yes.
It's, it's,
I think I already commented on your post about
yes,
yeah.
it's so bad that it's
Yeah.
laughably, like I had a good time laughing at it, but it's so bad.
I mean, you don't want to knock these kind of movies because we
Yeah,
do want more movies that have us being
yes,
represented, but it's how you go about it.
hmm,
So I was excited to watch it, but then halfway, well, first let's just get shout out Glenn Close because I didn't
yes,
even know she had ghetto in her until I
hmm,
saw this, and I said, "Oh, she's fantastic." But it was just the plot. I felt like I was lost in it, like
hmm,
something was missing. Yeah, which I think that's what took away from it. I was saying about the house and the origin of the entity that was stalking
hmm,
the house. What stalked the little boy that the first family that moved to the house, because we know it's the little boy that stalked the second family that was there. But who was the entity originally? Where did they come
yeah,
from? How did they come about? So when I watch movies like that, I'm always questioning.
hmm.
I want a backstory.
Yeah, there could have been some lore written into that, but it seemed that Lee
Mhm.
Daniels is a little preoccupied with trauma. And I don't
Yeah.
think that's a necessity. Sometimes,
Mm-mm.
like, I love how the horror genre as a whole is
Mm-hmm.
continuously woke. Like, from
Mm-hmm.
the earliest horror movies, there's been social messaging in them. So
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. It's
Mm-hmm.
his way of twisting it into what I call, like, black trauma porn, which I don't think is necessary because who
Mm-hmm.
is that for? Because those of us that have, come of age in America, we've already experienced these things. We don't
Yes.
need to watch it for entertainment.
Yeah.
As my sister once put it, I don't eat popcorn to black trauma. So
Thank you.
I think he missed an opportunity to make like a black poltergeist, a black
Mm-hmm.
Amityville, where you
Mm-hmm.
meet this family and you care about the family, and then you see them
Mm-hmm.
go through these horrific events. And
Yes.
I don't know why he flubbed. He still could have had Glenn Close be her ghetto self, but there's lovable people in the ghetto. I have
Yeah.
family there, so I
Yeah.
know. But like,
Yeah.
and oh, speaking of Glenn Close, she also played a I don't know if it's a pejorative term, but it's in the title of the movie. There's a movie
Mm-hmm.
called Hillbilly Elegy where she played
Mm.
a quote hillbilly
Yeah.
in Appalachian mountains, and she did a great job with that too. And it's so opposite
Really?
of like her demeanor in real life. So,
Yeah. I mean, she can play all different array of
mhm,
characters, which is something about her. But like what you were saying about like the black trauma, because I was actually thinking about that, how I think that a lot of black like film producers and writers need to like kind of take a step back with that, because
mhm,
when you keep putting that kind of stuff in movies that represent us, it's unattractive. I feel like when you put that, people don't want to watch it. So then when you do come up with something with people that look like us in the story and it doesn't have it, people don't want to watch it because already mentally they're already thinking, oh, this is what's already in the story. Like Them. Was it Them or They or Them?
It was Them. The first season of Them, I didn't make it through. I watched the first 2 episodes and I was like, I don't need to watch this. Especially since like it's literally my family story. My mother's parents moved from a black area to a white suburb when she was a child, and they experienced all of that. Like the people killed their family walls. Like it's still recent history. People who went through this are still alive.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, who is this for? Is this for people outside of the U.S.? Because we know.
Yeah, we know. We don't need that.
And I think the thing that also muddies it up is because if the family's already going through this trauma, why are they the ones being terrorized by the ghosts? Why aren't the people who are tormenting them people being terrorized by the ghosts?
Exactly. That black face.
Yeah, like that's what should be haunting their neighbor. Like that's add some catharsis to this.
I can't. I mean, I finished it, but I said this is the first and last time I will ever watch something like that because I felt like disgusted. There's just so much that we can like absorb in these type of things. You know, I've watched Rosewood and 12 Years a Slave, and I can't do this anymore. We shouldn't have that.
No, we leave those movies for history class. Like I feel like they should exist, but play them in history class to people who are 16 and over. Because I also think that sometimes we're exposed to that too early. Let us get through childhood before bombarding us with that, because it's really, uncomfortable to be a child reading Huck Finn in a classroom with white kids. Like, let's not do that anymore. Save that for college.
Exactly.
We have a question and a comment for you. He says, I know Shasha has certain dresses she made that are her favorites. What is her magnum opus, or does she feel that's coming? Wait, I'm not understanding the question. Why are you asking about dresses? Can you rephrase the question, because I don't understand it? He says there's Freddy versus Jason. Let's petition for a Lee Daniels versus Mr. Chocolate.
Oh my gosh.
Mr. Chocolate is Tyler Perry, for anybody watching that don't know. It's a joke from Atlanta, yeah. And he says Glenn Close also played a crazy side beat. Yeah, that was
Fatal Attraction.
Yes, Fatal Attraction. I could not conjure the
Great
name.
movie.
For what it's worth, I did see season 2 of them, which took place in the 90s, and it was a lot less like oppressive feeling. There was a little commentary in the background about Rodney King, but most of the show was horror homages to horror movies from the 90s, which I really, really liked. It was more of a horror fan thing. I'm glad they went lighter on that, because I'm like, that's not a fun watch.
Yeah.
Speaking of horror properties, do you have any horror movies or TV shows that you're looking forward to this fall season or winter season?
I'm trying to think, because I just saw so much movies that just passed. So I don't even know what's coming up right now. I have no clue at all what's coming up. I know you might know, so you can let me know.
Well, there's next week is Terrifier 3.
Okay, I can't watch him.
Yeah. Yes. They're saying that some people have already, like for the first screening, they're advertising that 9 people walked out and one person, can I say vomited on YouTube? I think I can say that word. It's unclear what words you can say anymore. Yeah. They hurled. But they say that with every Terrifier movie, so I don't know.
Yeah. The first one was enough for me. With the slicing of the woman, like all like I'm good.
I'm the opposite. I love gore. I can watch people get chopped up all day. But what gets to me, demon movies, ghost movies, they kind of creep me out. When they're well done, they creep me out. Like a good ghost story will freak me out.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, Salem's Lot remake came out on HBO yesterday.
I just saw that. I have Max, so I want to check that out. Okay. How about Deary?
Deary is supposed to come out, but I don't know when. I don't have a date for that one. I'm trying to think of anything else that's coming out this month.
Nosferatu is coming out in
Yes.
December. Oh, I love Bill Skarsgård, so of course, like I look forward to seeing that.
And he was recently in It, and he was also in Barbarian, so he's like becoming a screen king.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Before I get, I see your comment, but I'm going to come back to it because it kind of relates to some of my questions. Is there a specific person of color character or actor that inspired, influenced you, or you just felt good seeing when you were as you were growing up?
Let me see. As I was growing, can this be particular like as of horror? Because I can say because I was reading the question, so I wasn't too sure, but I would say Rachel True, because I love The Craft. I love anything that deals with witches, any movie. So I remember I was about that. The Craft came out in what, 1996 or 1997?
Yeah,
I believe around that. Okay, so I was between 15 or 16 because I remember watching it in the theater. And the thing that would caught me once I saw a black girl that not only had, that looked like me and had the same hair texture and everything, I was like, oh my God, there's a black girl in it. I don't know if you feel like that.
Yes,
when
I
you
feel
see
like
when you see like a commercial for a movie and then you see one of us, it's just like you just become so elated. And when I saw her, I said, oh my God, I have to see this. And I just absolutely loved it that they portrayed us, in a good way. The only thing I didn't like was the racist element that was in it, where she was being bullied by the character. I believe her name was Laura, that was acted by Christine Taylor. I didn't like that. I kind of felt like you could take that out. Like, why, when it comes to a black character, something about race is put in there. But besides that, I absolutely adored her.
Yeah, they totally could still have had her be bullied, but turn it into something like being bullied for the bully being jealous of her because she's also beautiful. It doesn't necessarily have to be racialized bullying. Although during that time period, like because it was the 90s, coming out of the 80s, I'm imagining a lot of movies in the 90s, scripts were written in the 80s. That was something that was prevalent in suburban high schools, the racialized bullying. I found out it was even worse in the 60s because not racialized, but just bullying in general. My mother said when she was in high school, she graduated in 72, that there were blonde girls in her high school that would make fun of the brown-haired girls, and they were same race. And I was wow. I'm like, that's really wild. I didn't know that.
That's crazy. That's like a brown skinned girl and a light skinned girl. There was always like that beef in the 90s with the good hair, the bad hair.
Well, some of it I can kind of understand because just from my own observation, some light skinned women get their heads boosted too much when they're younger, and then some of them do kind of have I hate to say it, I'm sorry, y'all gonna be mad at me because I know you look like me. Some of y'all got a funky attitude, and it's because you got your head boosted up by
my gosh,
and it's not cool. So I can get why those things happen, but that comes from colorism, which is like an offshoot of racism. Like colorism is like the stepchild of racism, and without racism, you don't have colorism. So, like, fortunately, what I'm seeing with the youth now, there's a lot less of that.
Yeah,
people's beauty is being recognized, and it's not just we're just gonna say this person is gorgeous just because she's light. Like I'm not with that. Although I do have an issue with some of the horror TV shows nowadays that are casting the same phenotype over and over and over again. And these girls, I can't even tell them apart. I'm not going to look at their names because they all look the same. And it's like, why are we casting the same version of the black girl over and over again? Well, and a lot of times she's not fully black. She's
biracial.
But on the show, both her parents will be black. And I'm like, no, there's room for both. Yes, you can have biracial characters. Biracial people exist. And in America, their numbers are growing. So I'm not saying they shouldn't be in programs, but don't have them in programs and exclude phenotypically black girls because that's not cool.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think that's something that I have a problem with too, because I don't have a problem with biracial. I mean, but at the same time, they don't represent all of us. I just don't understand. There's so many beautiful black women, black actresses that are just not being put out there. They're not being discovered. They're not getting their flowers. It just doesn't make any sense. And like you said, they recycle the same people. It's like, oh, I've seen her before in this movie, and it's boring.
Yeah, it is. It's very boring. And little girls need that person that reminds them of themselves. And it's one of the things I remember, because I have a younger sister that's Gen Z. She's just now entering her later 20s. And I remember how her face lit up when she got this Brandy Christmas doll. And she had grown up seeing Moesha on television, and how, and even Raven Simone, she loved the Cheetah Girl, and just how it made her feel to have the Cheetah Girl, products and stuff. And now that's taken away. Like, who is the Brandy for them? I don't see one. I can't name one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to get off on a tangent, but let's cycle back around to your work. What inspired you to start your career as a horror writer?
Well, it's weird because I used to get grounded a lot when I was a kid, and my mom used to tell me I had to write essays, like read a book and write about it, so I can go out and play with my friends. So, so I started getting into writing that way. From that and watching like horror movies, but it was something about storytelling. I think it really just came up when I was reading the R.L. Stine books, and then I was watching a movie, Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. And I think when I was watching, you've seen that. So when I watched it, something just popped in my head. I was 12 years old in 1993. And when I watched the movie, we know it's about shapeshifters, and it's about a mother and a son. And they're after like virgin girls to take their soul in order to preserve their existence. And I thought about it, and I said, well, I want to see a girl like us, be the main protagonist, but then instead of the mother and son, we just have this new guy that moves into town, and he's a shapeshifter, and then he goes after her, but then he has a secret brother and stuff. And then I just conjured up this story, and I just started writing it. So, I mean, that's really what it was. It was never something that I thought about being a writer. I think just once I saw the movie, it was something like every time I was watching horror movies in the early 90s, I just never saw any type of representation or the final girl. So it always was like, okay, well, if you're not going to tell the story, then I'll create one of my own. And that's how it started with me in my writing.
I still remember being surprised by Tales from the Crypt Demon Night, because in the advertisement, I didn't know who the
Jada Pinkett was in there, right?
Yeah, she was in it, but I didn't know she was the star, and I definitely didn't know she was going to be the final girl. So I was like really, really surprised when she was the final girl, and excited. And I thought, oh, she's going to take off after that. But then I think she might have done, is that before or after she did Woo? And I was like, if I was an agent, I would have been like, no, she can do better than this.
She can do better than this,
Now, I have a question in the comments, but I want to rephrase it, because he asked, what's your favorite book that you wrote? But I feel like for authors, their books are kind of like their children. That's like asking someone who their favorite child is. So I don't know whether you'd be able to answer that.
Well, I mean, the thing is that I've wrote numerous stories, but I had writer's block. I mean, I wrote the book at 12. I finished it at 18. I put it away. I didn't know what to do with it because I was missing important plot points to the story. So I left it alone. And give or take, I'm 43. I lost a story in Hurricane Sandy. I wrote it on a notebook. So I lost it in 2012. I wanted to rewrite it, and I just didn't know how to start. And somehow in 2018, I got the idea to maybe come up with a way to start writing the book, but finding like an online writing site. And that's what I did. At 37, I found a fictional writing site, and I was able to rewrite the story like a few years ago. So this is actually my first, my baby right here is this, but I do have other works and stuff, but I think they're all my favorites right now. I just, So
I was going to ask, I mentioned your book covers before. And if you make you feel like it's going to be a romantic story, are they very heavy on romance?
I'm not a heavy romance reader. So I'm not a heavy romance writer, but I can say that there is a love story within the series between the demon and the main protagonist. But I think the book really has all kinds of elements, different genres. It has horror, it has mystery, it has thriller, it has suspense. So yeah, but I know a lot of women love romance. I don't know what the obsession is with that.
I think they want more of what is lacking in their life, and I feel like a lot of guys, especially modern guys, kind of don't know how to be truly romantic anymore. It
Yeah.
might be a little bit of a block where they feel like they're being a punk if they're too romantic. And
Yeah.
so bring back the chivalry and the romance. Bring that
Yeah.
back. And it all
Yeah.
comes here. I think they're a little afraid of getting their hearts broken, which is
That's
normal.
both
Normal to hear
sides.
that.
Yeah.
But you can't let that stop you from trying.
From trying. Exactly. I mean, I believe in love, and I don't know about happy endings because I don't believe in happy endings in my story, but I try to do something nice. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't try to get too heavy because I also have men that read it, which I like. But yeah, listen, I like putting two characters together and showing that love and stuff like that. But I don't go deep. Like, I'm not like erotic and start writing all that dirty stuff. I keep it clean.
And we have a couple of comments here. Tony says, "That's awesome. You make me want to write. Is writing extemporaneously a good quality to have? Because that's all I can do."
Do it. If it's in you, do it. Because I kind of feel like some people that love to read might want to be a writer, but I feel like the writer should already be in you. This is not something that you can force. It's not something you can just jump up one day and say, oh, I want to be a writer, or take like classes. I mean, you can, but I feel like it has to be something within you that makes you want to do it. Sometimes I feel like people are just born with that kind of creativity, that's like with artists and stuff like that,
That's very inspiring, because it's funny because I write almost every day.
Yeah.
But it's nonfiction.
Okay.
And I need to talk myself into publishing every day, because I have a website and I have so much writings that I have not published.
But you should.
Yeah.
You should. I feel like, we only live once. And I always feel like God put us here for a reason. And if you have a lot of stuff that you've written, why not share that with the world? That's what I say. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Just do it.
Mr. Dan in Horror says, "I love romance too. Like The Fly, for example." Oh, yes, The Fly was technically a love story.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. It was sad, though.
Someone says, "I'm a romantic guy. I believe in flowers and stuff."
Oh,
yes, that's great.
Flowers are great.
One of the things I've noticed about your online presence is that you are really good at marketing yourself and your book. I think it really stands out. I remember, might have been last year or the year before last, where you used to have these little ads for your novels, and I really loved that. How did you develop your marketing plan? I should say.
Well, I didn't really make up a plan when I first published the first book of the series. I was kind of delving into YouTube and trying to find like booktubers that had more knowledge on how to, publish a book, how to put it out there. I did meet one author on Instagram that put me onto a few things, not really marketing, but really like book awards and stuff. So the thing is that it always starts with what you write. It's all about your story. So I thought, okay, I write a supernatural dark horror romance book. How can I put it out there that is eye-catching? Now, I thought about, I'm a visualizer. So I love to see what the characters look like. That's how I like to read. I want you to describe them. So then I thought in my head, why not start doing custom illustrations of my characters? That way you can see who they are. And then I put captions of, what they're doing. I might have it a scene drawn from the chapter of the book. That way you can actually picture it. So when you're reading the book, you go back and you see the illustration. You're like, oh, I remember that scene, So it kind of, it's like you can interact with them as well. And then I love doing book trailers. I love doing book intros, just anything that's eye catching that really just puts the book out there for you to know what it's about. I mean, it's easy to just prop up a picture of your book every day. You just see a picture of the book just laying on a table or somebody holding it, you know, but you need to give the readers more information. You need to give them readers more. Why should they pick up your book? Why should they buy them? You know? So yeah, when I came up with the illustrations, I mean, that took off, you know, and then now my fans of the series can, you know, they can just look at like you see one of my characters there. That's Trey. Everybody loves him. He represents the LGBTQ community. So of course, you know, I have lots of diversity in my book. So I aim to promote diversity in horror, which, you know, we don't see that. We see a lack of. And I want, you know, I always say that we should be able to see ourselves in the characters we read. There's Kyle, which is nobody really likes him. But this is a promotion for Fosrel, which is book 4 coming out on Halloween. So I love these pictures in particular. I came up with this concept where the two sides are like Easter eggs. It's from like from the series itself. So the missing, you know, the missing flyer came from book 1. This is book 4. So but there's a lot of stuff that happens. You see there's a face on the plate with scalpels. So yeah. So I do have a little gore and stuff, in the story, and certain things that, you know, happen with that character that has something to do with that. So yeah, I mean, it's just awesome, you know. And what's really great about what I'm doing is that I'm also creating segments called Authors to Readers, where I actually can have a one-on-one conversation with the readers to my story. And I think that, you know, as an author, I think I'm probably the only person that's doing this right now on Instagram. And instead of, like I said, always posting the book, why not show people and have people actually watch videos and listen to people's thoughts of what they felt reading my novels? I think that's enough to sell the story.
Oh, here's one.
Hey.
That's me. I just did an Authors to Readers. It takes forever. Instagram is horrible when it comes to lives.
Yeah.
It takes forever.
And it doesn't let you fast forward a little bit.
No, you can actually go to one of the clips that I have with her.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll go to the clip.
Yeah, there's actually clips that I have with her.
Okay. Direct me to them.
There's this we just finished speaking about book 3 in the novel, so I do clips. I have one with Tyrone. I know you know the evil Tyrone.
This looks like it might be a clip.
Yeah, that's
I'll tell you one. That was a moment that's going to stick with the reader, because now you understand why Philip is the way he is. Because Philip's like, hell no, I don't want to see Kristen's ass. Y'all go ahead. Let me get these kids, and we going on back. I'm not going. I'm not. Y'all can have that shit. I'm not doing it. And he had every right to feel the way he felt. Kristen was like, y'all can get in that car and be ride or die. Hey, I love y'all. I'll catch y'all on the other side. I'm not going. And I ain't mad at him.
I did not mean to do that.
I ain't mad at him. Nope. No. I ain't mad at him. I'm going to tell you, that was
fun. That was really fun. It was talking about a character in the book that just pretty much had enough of the nonsense going on. But that's really what I do. Yeah. That's the main character.
I love it.
Yeah. And I love the songs. I like to put morbid songs like with the picture, and that I found. You saw the first part of it.
Sorry, I have to mute it so I could hear you.
Yeah, the first part of the movie, I heard this in the beginning when the movie, like the credits were rolling, and I heard it and I said, this is perfect. So I love putting very gloomy, creepy songs to go with it, and that's our main protagonist. That's in the 4th book, and obviously she's dealing with spells and
addiction to medication. So as you can see, and then something with the spell book. So like I said, there's Easter eggs that I put in that I have in the illustrations that kind of make you guess what's going to happen to the character in the upcoming novel.
Very, very cool. Oh, will you have merchandise with some of these on there? Because I think they would be great on. Like I see you have your shirt as
Yes.
well. But I could see these on mugs, tote bags. Like
Yeah.
I could definitely see an expansion.
I make bookmarks.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I do have T-shirts. I've had a few people purchase T-shirts, custom-made T-shirts. The thing is that I do want to open a shop, but for now, people can, I usually send them illustrations, and then they pick whichever one that they want, and then it gets put on their shirt for them. So yeah, I do want to open, like, in the future, open a bigger shop for the Brothers Curse. I'm just right now trying to build audience.
Oh, I think you're doing a great
Honor,
job.
talking about the book. Everybody get the series. 3 books out right now, more to come. It's amazing. Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble, or anywhere else she's selling it. You can get it directly from her.
Yeah.
Get your autograph. Get it. Just get it.
All right.
That's the Evil Tyrone. If anybody's looking for him, he's got a great show. Matter of fact, on Wednesdays, he's talking about From the series.
Oh, great.
I'll be on there this Wednesday with him and, oh God, I'm blanking. Double Feature Horror Podcast will be on there. And hold on, I will be mad if I don't mention his name because he's awesome. But I'm having
Mika. Mika will be on there.
Yes, Mika will be on there.
Okay. Oh, I'll definitely check it out. I'm still on season 1, and there's just so many things that's on TV. I can't even sit still to watch one.
The other people on there, Keisha from That Random Horror Show.
The horror show. Okay, yeah.
In Love with Horror, which is a couple out of Washington
Christy.
State.
Yeah.
Yep. And Sylvester Barsley might be on there, depending on his schedule. I feel like I'm still missing somebody. There it is. Tamon Kane. I knew there was somebody else. Yeah, I'm sorry, Tamon. I'm sorry. It's Friday. My mind is about to check out. Speaking of the books, Tyrone had just mentioned buy the books. To those watching this now, and also to the replay gang, because there's a lot of people that come to watch these on the replay. If you navigate to her Instagram, which by the way you should follow her, especially if you are in the horror community, if you are thinking of doing your own thing, I think she has made an excellent blueprint for how to market yourself. Of course, you've got to make your marketing your own, and I think she's really awesome at doing that. But if you go here, there's a link, and it'll show you that you can get her books on Amazon, on Goodreads, on BookBub, and also if you want to support her directly, follow her on Patreon, which is also a great place to sell merchandise on Patreon.
Yeah. Okay. I just started that too.
Yeah, I just found out about that myself, like maybe 2 months ago.
Okay.
Definitely do that. Before we go, because I don't want to hold you too long, what do you have coming up? Actually, let's talk again about your newest novel. Let me bring that up. Let's see if which is Fazarel, right?
Fazarel, yeah. I think those are the videos. If you go on the profile, you'll probably be able to see. Yeah, you'll be able to see the book. Is that it? Yeah, those are like some of the illustrations and stuff like that. But yeah, Fazarel is the 4th book in the series. It's the Brothers Curse is actually a 7-book series.
Oh, wow.
So now we have the 4th book coming out this Halloween. I'm really excited about it. I know my fans are, because they're always hitting me up like, can we pre-order? Can we do this? So I'm very excited about this book. So I have that coming out on the 26th of this month. I also have a new segment of Authors to Readers where I'll be discussing my book with another fan of the series, Akira. So I'm really excited about that as well. And I'll also have like a couple of book signings that is in the works for 2026. So I'm very excited about that as well.
Very, very cool. Let's see what the next image is.
There she is.
Let's play a little bit of the audio. I see there was an Easter egg on the tombstone that it said 2045. Her name is 2045. And then it's Christopher's Curse, of course.
Christopher's Curse, yes, Christopher's Curse. That was based in 2045, the third book. It flashed like to the future. So we also have Christopher's Curse. So I do all the illustrations for all of the books, so you can see it's Crystal. That's your son Christopher when he was younger. And,
did you say that you do the illustrations? Is it your drawing?
I actually create the drawings. I put them together, everything, and then I hired a illustrator that's from Malaysia, and she draws them out with specific instructions. Cool. Yeah. So she's always excited when I reach out to her and stuff for a new project, and she's phenomenal. I mean, she takes everything that I visualize and she just creates them, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
I have to mute that because YouTube will ding me for copyright.
Oh yeah, for copyright, yeah.
But I love the song. that was my song growing up.
Yeah, that's from Christopher's Curse. This is dealing with witches. We have witches, warlocks, and Mambo priestess. So I add that also in the book. A lot of witchcraft and stuff.
I love it.
Yeah. It's an original tale, you know, and I think that's what we need, you know, whether or not it's published. You know, I know a lot of people like to read traditionally published books, and I chose this route better because I wanted creative control. Because I don't think that if I did send my books to a literary agent, I'd be able to market the way that I want to market.
Yeah, now is a great time because people are able to self-publish directly to Amazon. Even I was mentioning this yesterday while I was talking with Real Queen of Horror, who is getting into filmmaking as a director.
Okay.
And we were discussing how now directors can self-publish their movies to Amazon, and they can self-publish to Tubi. Like they don't have to go through the traditional studio system. And it allows them to have more control because you don't have producers saying, you know, put a giant spider in Wild Wild West. That's why I was there.
Exactly. You know, I mean, I went to school for film. I'm a film major and I'm a screenwriter. And this is something that, I mean, I saw this story when I was 12 as a movie. This has always been my dream, was to have this adapted, to make it as a film. So, because I mean, the visualization and the scenery and everything that goes on in this book, you can see it when you're reading it. It's like, you know, you're watching a film.
I have to compliment you that it's very, very smart for you to publish these books first. Because I didn't go to school for film, but I went to school for entertainment business.
Okay.
And I know that it's a lot easier to have creative control as a novelist than as a screenwriter. So when you're a novelist and then you do your own screenplays based on your novels, you have a lot more creative control than just a screenplayer. I don't want to say just like a lower band, but not having the novelist background is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why Stephen King had so much more control than
and it was a different time and era when he started his books. There were no social medias and stuff like that, and it was just easier, I guess, for him to have all these opportunities, as opposed to now. I think the problem is that people don't know the meaning of discovering new talent. Everyone is just recycling. You know, you'll see the same books being posted for spooky season. I'm very thankful that some book influencers, especially women of color that are book influencers, have chosen to choose my book for October season. So I'm really excited about that, because I say, you know, you have to discover new people. Just because they didn't go the route with traditionally published doesn't mean that their book has no meaning to it. You know, there's so much you can get out of reading a book like this, you know, and we need more of us, you know, to represent.
Oh, I meant to ask, do you have a TikTok account?
Oh, I actually deactivated my TikTok.
Oh,
it was too much. It was too much for me. I just couldn't.
Oh, it's a really great place for sales.
Like, it's hard though.
Yeah.
Like, I get the views, but I don't get the interaction. And I think maybe one or two people that saw me on TikTok. did buy the book, but I found that Instagram was actually the better outlet for it.
Yeah, Instagram has a great horror community. I feel like the horror community on Instagram is a little bit more, I don't want to say progressive, but active would be the word.
Yeah.
The horror community on Instagram is more active from what I'm seeing. Like maybe I just haven't stumbled upon the horror community on TikTok that it is as no, the word I misspoke. Not active, interactive.
No, I think there's more interacted on Instagram, like you were saying, because I think on TikTok it's more of romance and erotic books. I've seen it a lot of urban erotic books. So most people that I was being connected with were just like, no, I'm not touching it. I don't like horror. And I'm like, well, it's not just horror, but I said, you know what, this is not my outlet. I said, I'm gonna have to stay with Instagram and Facebook.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
With that, here, I will let you go, but I thank you so much for coming through. This was a great
Thank you so much.
So I'm happy to have you. Like I'm really, really psyched.
It was an honor.
I almost forgot. There is one more comment or question. Did she see Never Let Go? If so, what's her interpretation? I think it's mental illness. So Never Let Go is the new Halle Berry horror film, which I would describe more as a horror drama.
Okay.
But I think the sensibility comes from the director because it's directed by not Pascal Leger. There's another French director, Alexandre Aja.
Okay.
So it has that kind of French drama sensibility. But when you get a chance, check it out because it's a type of film that can be interpreted in more than one way, and they left it open for interpretation.
Oh, okay. Because when you mentioned mental illness, I'm thinking in my head based off because when I was going to the movies, they would show the previews like all the time, and it kind of made me feel like was she imagining all of this stuff going on in the cabin, and it really wasn't real, and it was kind of like this anxiety-inducing type feeling towards the children where they felt like they were closed in and had to stay, in the house, or anytime they went out, they had to have the ropes, and stuff like that. So I definitely want to go see that. I mean, I saw Long Legs. I saw Speak No Evil. I saw Blink twice.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Blink twice again this weekend.
It's so good. I love the end.
and it's timely when you consider who the director is, because the director is
Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz is the daughter of Lisa Bonet.
Yeah,
and when you consider what happens in the movie and how Lisa Bonet worked very closely with Bill Cosby for years, it's like you're getting more of an insider's look at certain things rather than just like, I'm sure her mom told her some things. Like, it's for no other reason than to keep her safe. Like, hey,
with the drinks. But them women were bad.
Yeah, they were. I love the ending.
Oh my God. Like he's stumbling when he think he was smoking. Oh my gosh. Hey, Rich. I remember you. Oh, so good. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. And they just put it on Amazon too. I was like, oh my God, these movies are really coming quick.
Yeah, quickly. Because I think Speak No Evil is on video now. Already. I feel like I just went to the screening for that. Like
I just saw it 2 weeks ago, but they still have it in the movie theater.
Oh, okay. And
so
did you get to see the original I think it's Danish version?
Girl, I saw it last week and it just got on my nerves because I said this family was so dumb. And I love the remake now, like watching that. I feel like the couple was a little bit more aggressive. I felt like the husband, if he had opened his mouth and said something, they all could have probably survived what happened.
Well, I think that the point of the first one was supposed to talk about that extreme politeness in certain European countries where the extreme politeness can really get you into trouble. And by making one of the families American, we're polite enough until you push us in the corner, and then you see how the new one is, because Americans are different.
Yeah, we're wired a whole lot different than that. But I said, thank God they made a remake, and kudos to James McAvoy, because good Lord, he is so sexy as an evil person. I just
so swole. I never seen him so jacked before.
I know, right?
I remember first seeing him on the British version of Shameless, and he was just a little skinny guy. And now he's like, he got
yeah, and he was so creepy, super creepy with it. So yeah, I was like, this I like that one better, but I said I had to see the original just so I can kind of compare it. But I like the remake much better.
And Tony Man says Insider's going on. Look at The Weeknd and his show, and I think he's referring to The Idol that was on HBO, and the fact that it's talking about this pop star's journey and dealing with a very like a predatory, a sexually predatory producer type character. And since it was produced by The Weeknd, who's in the music industry, it's it's damn near a P. Diddy story.
I'm like, you really want to put something out with all of this stuff going on?
But he might have been talking about Drake for all the things we're hearing about him now. And The Idol was once close to him until the one of Drake's most famous albums, that first album, he stole. It's alleged that he stole a lot of that music from The Weeknd. So they're gonna have beef for life over that.
Yeah, there's just way too much stuff going on with. So much bad stuff going on with the music industry.
Tony Man says, Speak No Evil was extremely entertaining with the African American audience because every time the white dude did white dude things, they laughed. It made me laugh. Yes, it was a crowd.
Very true.
Yes.
Very true. Very true. Because we know what would have happened if it was a black couple.
We wouldn't have been there to begin with. I don't know you like that. I'm not coming to your house.
Even if we did, and that little girl was sitting there wanting to kick my seat, I was like, you can kick it all day, sweetheart, because we ain't going back to get it. We gonna buy you a new one.
And also a child that age, unless they have like a developmental delay or some type of neurodiverseness or non-neurotypicalness. No, you're not walking around. I come from the family of you too old for that passy.
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I can't with that. But let me go. Let me go because we can be here all day. Thank you so much again for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me. You're welcome.
And with that, thank you to the chat. You guys keep it lively. Again, the people who are watching this on the replay, her information is also in the description of this video. So if you're watching this after we finish the live, click on the description. You'll get the link to her Instagram page, and also when you follow that link, you'll see the link to go directly to buy her books from Amazon and other sites. But thank you so much again.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Asha.